Hi, everybody. It's Stacey Sybil with Salon Today and Data-Driven Salon Summit. And I am here with the lovely ladies from Boulevard. I've got Shanalie, who's the Director of Education, and Jozlyn, you're an Education Manager. And you all are going to be joining us in Nashville and presenting on connecting culture or creating culture through connections. And I imagine that communication has a big part in that. What do you kind of tell us what you're going to be talking about at the event?
Yeah, so I can actually jump in and start off if that's okay. We have a few topics that we are going to discuss that we're really excited to share with everyone. One being effective communication and what that looks like in this year in 2023, kind of thinking outside of the box on this specific subject and understanding how crucial and important it is to have an effective communication with your staff. It's really big to understand your team, understand their wants and needs. So we want to make sure that we're giving your employees the best of you as being a manager, for example. And then not only speaking with employees, but let's say you need effective communication when speaking with your owner of the business or manager of the business. What kind of framework do you need around that? What kind of data do you want to bring to your owner so that you can be most effective during these communications? We'll also be discussing the way to reimagine the means of being a supportive manager. So, of course, communication is really, really important. So we want to make sure that we are approaching it with words, the correct power behind the words that you're speaking, and delivering feedback in one-on-ones the best way you know how. So we're going to set you up for success with that as well, because we all, of course, myself and Shanalie, we've come from the industry, so we understand what poor communication looks like. Most likely, I know we were discussing it earlier, we both have probably come from a place that has poor communication, but we were able to learn from that and grow from that. So we want to reimagine what that looks like in the modern world.
Great. Well, both of you share your salon background a little bit because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can jump in there too, just to like piggyback off of some of what Joss is saying. So I grew up at the front desk and eventually grew into management, and I had to also learn from my own mistakes, right? I think we've all been in situations where we've, let's say, like learned from other folks, and maybe that wasn't the most effective way to drive productivity within our business. And what we're seeing with the newer generations that have popped up, they're not gonna like stick around for it, right? We've seen a lot of folks say like, like I know you grew up that way, but I'm not gonna do that in my
Right.
career. So for me, like now I'm in almost 16 years of actually being in the salon world and managing and developing people. We've learned a lot, so we're super excited to share that with everyone. And being a supportive manager means a lot more than just delivering numbers. I'm learning to listen to people about their day-to-day lives, what's going on at home, how they were frustrated, they had road rage on the way into the salon, and now they're a little edgy going into their first client, right? So we're learning to meet the needs of the whole person and not just like the person behind the chair, which I think is it's actually really exciting. I'll throw it over to Joss to give a little bit of her experience.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have countless stories that I can think of, but each one I feel like made us grow and found we are able to actually find another path of how we want to do this in a more effective way to communicate. So, yeah, we're really excited to show the team what we have and go through exactly some really helpful tools to kind of take for themselves and bring it back to their businesses.
Now, part of your presentation is going to focus on helping that manager shift from maybe being a boss to being a
Mhm.
mentor. What does that mean to you both?
That's a great question. So I think I've learned this from experience where I've seen both sides of it, where I've had managers that only cared about me being a producer, right? Hit the numbers, do what you're doing.
Mhm.
And with some of that, they allowed even me to have some bad behavior. So if I was running a little late and then that became a consistent problem, I was never called up on it because they're like, whatever, she's meeting her numbers, let's leave her alone. But if you think about it, what kind of tone does that set for the overall business, right?
Right.
What that means is you could do whatever you want as long as you're hitting the numbers. And that's just really not a true successful employee within the business. Now, being that true supportive manager is coaching someone into that new space, right? Being a mentor. And sometimes, like I know for me, even here at Boulevard, I'm mentoring people all the time. And some of the things we're working through, some of it sometimes, Stacey, has nothing to do with their jobs, right? Where they're going through a hardship, right? Where they need extra support because what happens in your home, with your families, with your relationships, with your friends, all bleeds into what happens within the business, right? We're people at the end of the day. So this idea of, you know, being a boss and just telling people what to do and giving directive without actually giving the coaching and actually being like the shoulder to cry on, someone to lean on, all of that really doesn't work for people anymore. So I've learned through even my own staff members, even here at Boulevard, where they're appreciative of the fact that I will take the time to sit there and listen to the things that are happening. And that makes them feel like, okay, I don't want to let this person down because here they are listening to me cry about the different things going on. So now I'm going to go out here and just like kill it on the project that I'm working on because I have that true support here. So, you know, in a sense, if you really focus on the whole person and who they are, it helps you drive so much more productivity. You know, back in the day, everyone used to say like, oh, we're a family, we're a big tight knit team. And we've learned like, that's actually quite toxic, right? Where you don't need to be
A lot
a
of
family.
families are toxic.
They should. Oh yeah, I know. I always make that joke where everyone rushes to the salon during holiday time because they're going to go home and get judged by their families, right? So it's the exact same thing. So I don't need to be your mom. You don't need to act like my daughter, right? This is about me being a true mentor, about getting you successful. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Let's break that down and figure out how we take the next step forward and get there together, right? This is about a true relationship where growth is in mind, right? True support where I can be a friend to you, but I can also be someone who's helping you achieve that productivity you're looking for. And for a lot of people, that's making more money, seeing that growth, you know, elevating themselves in that way. And all of this starts from a place of trust and understanding. And without that, there's no way, you know, like imagine we were on a date and I immediately went into like, okay, I need a marriage and I need this and I need that, right? Like the person across with me would be like, this person's crazy. Like she didn't even ask me how I am, right? She just went into her like list of demands, you know? So it's really important that we build that rapport. We're so used to doing that with our clients, right? We wouldn't immediately jump into like, oh, clearly you're not conditioning or not doing this. We take that minute to say like, hey, how are you? What's going on in your world? Like, I'm Shanalie, this is what I'm about, here's what I like, what are you into, right? We build that rapport. So it's no different with the folks on our teams. In the end, this mentorship where you focus on being a mentor and less like a boss, simply said, it's building a relationship, right? Trust and support is at the foundation of any relationship. You think about your closest friend, right? You can lean on them for anything. Sometimes you vent to them and sometimes you are open to some sort of solution. I have moments where I literally just sit there and listen to folks because they're frustrated, they're going through something. And then when they're ready, we offer a solution and we work towards that. So there's a great saying too. I've actually learned this recently where whether it be a friendship, a relationship, a work relationship, whatever it is, you can ask someone, do you need to just vent right now or are you looking for a solution?
Yeah.
Right. And someone can easily answer that like, I just need to get this off my chest. Like I'll figure it out. I actually know what the solution is, but I just need to like talk to somebody and get it out. Right. So some of these are the examples that we'll be sharing in this course. So we're super excited.
That's great. And I think this whole idea of looking at the person as a whole, I mean, there are a lot of bad things that came out of the pandemic, but I think that's one of the positives that came out of the pandemic. People started treating people like people again and not just cogs in the organization. So
definitely a reset.
definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you ladies both so much. We can't wait for your session. And for all of you, Data Driven is in Nashville, April 23rd and 24th. And you can go to datadrivensalon.com for tickets and to see our entire agenda. So we can't wait to hear you guys on stage. It's going to be great.
Thanks. We're
Amazing.
excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.